It'll be one to go this time by. Coming to the green, buddy, coming to the green. Let's go get him. Go, 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 dig, 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 go, 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 go.
Get your motor running. Head out on the highway.
I know your team has stood behind you and stood behind you all the way through that rookie season, but in knowing that there isn't a long leash nowadays for young drivers and their development, you know, was there any point last season, maybe after this race, or any time when you worried that even despite their, you know, repeated assurances that they were behind you, that you might be close to being cut loose if you didn't start performing, improving?
I feel like every race I'm getting ready to be cut loose almost. You know, I never had that false sense of job security. I think a lot of kids, guys get in trouble and you feel like you can be here forever, and I feel like that going into this weekend. If I don't perform right, if I don't get the job done, if I make mental mistakes, I'm going to be on that borderline. So I kind of have that feel every weekend, and certainly last year, yeah, you had that, but Jack Roush stood behind me. You know, the Roush Fenway team, the guys back at the shop, Jimmy Finning, and you know, we would struggle for a while, but then we'd bounce right back and have some you know, top 10s and top 15s and have a fast car. And, you know, we knew it was around the corner. We just had to make good decisions and try to make it last, try not to make mistakes. But, you know, I still have that same feel. I feel like that I'm not irreplaceable, that I can mess up for a few weeks in a row and I'll be on the hot seat. So as long as I have that attitude, I feel like I'll always be you know, driving as hard as I can and trying to be, you know, putting my best foot forward.
Go ahead, Joe.
Joe Menzer, NASCAR.com. Hey, David, how you doing?
Good.
Kyle Busch said the other day that he wishes they just went to each track just once. And now that the schedule's out, I'm just wondering, as a young guy, what's your opinion of the schedule? And you think too many races, not enough races, perfect? What's your opinion of it?
What does Kyle want to do? Just have 20 races a year or something like that?
He probably wants to race like 16 other kinds of cars.
No, I think the schedule's good. I mean, obviously I'm a young kid. I'm not married. I don't have any kids, and I think I'm going to try to race 100 races this year between my Nationwide car, my Cup car, run a few Legends races, some dirt car races, and try to run some road course races over the winter. See if I can't get in 100 races this year. I think that'd be pretty cool. At the end of the year, when we leave Homestead, I'm going to be about 86, so I'm going to have I think about 15 races to do between Homestead and the end of December. But no, I think the schedule's good. I like coming back to tracks for a second time. It gives us a different challenge. You know, when we're here in the spring, it's usually raining, snowing, and freezing cold, and it's always hot here in the winter. So, you know, I like coming back to tracks like this for a second time, a different situation. California, it's the same thing. I think there's some tracks I'd love to go to Daytona 5 times a year. So anyway, I think the schedule's fine. I think it's a good mix. I think you know, the races are laid out in a good flow, and I'm just happy to be a part of the show.
Couple in the back. Go ahead, and then we'll go over to Nicole. Mike Embry, NASCAR Scene. David, Joey Logano is looking at facing a difficult road next year, stepping into a kind of a spotlighted situation. If you could sit down with him, what kind of advice would you have for him, since you've had some growing-up struggles too?
Probably just learn all you can from Tony in that situation right now. Certainly that's a strong team and a strong you know, group to be around, and make sure that he learns all he can. Right now, you know, watching them race, listening to them during practice, I wish that I would have had that 2006 season back where I could have gone to all the Cup races with Mark and been around, and him and Pat Tryson, and I certainly felt like I would have learned a little more. So I would encourage him just to follow in Tony's footsteps and watch what they do for the remaining of the season, and, you know, get with Zipadelli and make sure they're on the same page. But Joey's got a tremendous amount of talent, and obviously he's got a lot of experience this year. He's probably got just as much COT experience as any of us, because he's been driving and testing them for the same amount of time we have. So he'll be fine. But you know, I just say learn all you can this year from Tony and those guys, because they got a pretty good program going on.
Go ahead.
Nicole Mansky, ESPN. When you look at the chase and the drivers who are kind of on the bubble, is there one particular driver that surprises you more than anyone else?
Surprises me in which way?
That they're in the position where they might not be in it at the end of the season?
No, I mean, they're all proven winners. They're all proven, you know, fast guys, and you look at I think the 11 car, they've kind of had an up and down season. He's been very, very strong a few weeks, but then he struggles a few weeks. I think the same with Harvick and with Boyer. They've had fast cars some weeks, but then other weeks they really seem to struggle. So I think that's some of the things that I look at, and I think that we can capitalize on some of those weeks where they may not be on their game, but at the same time they have the experience and they have the teams to be able to overcome difficulties like that. And I think that we're part of that same situation. We've had good speed, we've been strong on some weekends, and we haven't been on others, and that's where we've got to kind of clean up our act on those few off weekends, and we can be right where we need to be.
One more question, then he's got to go to practice. Go ahead. You got one, Claire? Go ahead.
Claire B. Lang, XM. You have such a quiet confidence now, and I remember early on you didn't have the easiest time with everyone, and now you're so confident and calm, and I wonder at what point you kind of picked that up. If you always had it, or if something changed that?
I think I've always had a lot of confidence. Like I talked about earlier, I had a lot of confidence, but I didn't have the experience to back anything up. I was just kind of out there freewheeling, running wild at times. But when going back to some tracks, Daytona's, for instance, has been a good track for us from the get-go, and being able to go back in a different race and performing well again, that shows you that the first time around wasn't a fluke. I think we can do this on a regular basis, and certainly after a couple of good top fives in a row, or Darlington, I think, was a big weekend for us to finish in the top five there, and that was a long, tough race last year, and it was a tough race this year, and coming out of Darlington and saying that this is one of the toughest tracks on the schedule, and we kind of conquered the place tonight. That I think that we can do it anywhere if we don't make mistakes and we make sure that we're doing the right things. So just a few runs like that certainly helps you, but then you face reality when you go to another track where you've run great at and you run 25th. So kind of bounces back and forth, but I think you always remember those good nights and remember that you can do it week in and week out if you just do what's right.
David, thanks a lot. Continue. Good luck this weekend.
All right, thanks, guys.